Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Million Dollar Failure, Why Homes Don't Sell, and How to Fix It. These are real stories, real fails, and real solutions. And now, here are your hosts, Jeremy and Nicole.
All right, welcome back to Million Dollar Failure. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Jeremy.
And so no guests today.
No.
It's just us.
It's a little disappointing. We'd love to have our sellers come on and talk about their experiences, but we have enough experience and knowledge, especially stuff that's happened recently, that we can share and hopefully help sellers out there reach their goals.
No, exactly. I mean, I think just we've got so many stories between us and a lot of our colleagues and brokers that I think we have enough conversation, but we have a few guests lined up for the future that I'm excited about.
Yes, absolutely. Folks that are a necessary part of the industry, whether it's photography, insurance, staging, things like that, that all lead to helping sell a home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, if you have ever in the past not been able to sell a home, whether it was for sale by owner or with an agent, and we'd love to hear your story and what maybe you learned and what could be done better.
Yeah. Love to have you come in, or we can actually do it over the phone, or well, however what works best.
Yeah. And our platform allows us to send a link like Zoom.
Perfect.
That's what we're going to do with a couple of our guests coming up.
Right. So today we had our pre-production meeting. Is there a production meeting, pre-production meeting?
It is.
Yes.
I think so.
We'll give a shout out to the restaurant where we do that.
Yeah. Big Island Burritos.
There
Thank
you
for all of your support.
Yes. Big Island Burritos. It is delicious. But we had a pre-production meeting there, and we talked about an example or story that you can dig into. And then from there, it leads into other opportunities that I think sellers out there listening might want to heed our advice. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So the one that came to mind and that I actually think about often because I don't want it to ever repeat is I had a seller, I think we're going on about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Come to me. She had been listed with another agent and had withdrawn or canceled.
Okay.
And it's a unique home. It's a historic home in Vero. So doesn't have a huge buyer pool. Super cool home.
Right.
Very unique in a great neighborhood.
Right.
Well, she was in a tough spot. I won't go into the personal details.
Okay.
But the agent previously had told her, this is going to sell fast.
Yes.
Go ahead and move out.
Interesting.
You can go get an apartment.
Right.
So, and she had a mortgage on the home. So then she would be responsible for carrying a mortgage and carrying rent. That's a lot.
But move out because I'm going to sell it fast.
Move out.
Yes.
Do it.
Sure.
And this person had been told, I think also, it's one of those really, I mean, because it's such a unique house, neighbors over time, you always got those damn neighbors, right? Coming to you. Oh, when you ever want to sell this, I'll totally buy it. When's that ever happen?
Very rarely.
Very rarely.
Yes.
So, but that makes you feel positive.
Yeah.
So between the neighbors, the agent, friends, you get those letters in the mail. I'll buy your house cash. All of this, all signs pointed to, we're going to sell this house fast.
Yes.
It didn't happen. And I'd say it was priced, I don't know, $75,000 to $100,000 over. That's a lot.
That is a lot. That's crazy.
It was crazy. So the photos, they were professional. Description was decent. No video. Which you know how I feel about that.
Right.
I'm trying to think. But there was sparse, random furniture throughout the home, like a table, a dresser. So it just kind of looked...
It wasn't put together very well.
No, it looked forgotten.
Okay.
And you could tell it was vacant.
Okay.
So it had been listed for several months and it went through a few price decreases. When she reached out to our brokerage and was like, I need help. We got to get rid of this. And I came in, I just couldn't believe somebody had told her
that's going to sell fast.
It's going to sell fast. And
Yeah.
I'm so confident that I think you should carry a mortgage and rent move out.
Right.
So we absolutely did everything we could. Professional photos, professional video, the description, priced it right, lots of marketing, the open houses, paid advertising. I think there's postcards, like threw everything at it. Good showings, good feedback. And it was the weekend it expired, I got an offer.
Okay.
And because of what happened with the first agent and moving out,
Right.
she couldn't take it.
Because it's too low.
Because she had been, the financial situation was so upside down that even if she got asking, she couldn't have taken it, but I didn't know that.
Okay.
So when we got the offer, she started crying.
Oh, that's not good. Awful. Yeah.
No, so I'm crying.
Yeah.
The buyer's crying.
Right.
And it was awful.
Yeah.
It was absolutely tragic. She had already tried to figure out how to get out of her lease, and she knew she had to move back into the home, which is not where she wanted to be.
Wow. You know, a portion of that story, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but you get emotional about trying to help people. And I think that gets lost in the real estate business, that people think that you're a realtor, you're just out to make money. And yes, we're in the business to make money. We have to supply for our families.
I think every profession wants to get paid.
Right. But as I know you and I can speak for both of us, we are passionate about trying to help our clients get to their station in life where they want to get.
Right.
And we feel animate about trying to help them. And it saddens us. You said you cried, and I've had tears in my eyes before trying to get through a sales process, to get through closing, to assist our people. So I think that's important, I think, for people to understand that there are realtors out there that do care. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but I wanted to bring that up.
Well, and I had, I was working with the buyer. The buyer was absolutely in love with the home. And, you know, I guess, in hindsight, I should have told the seller maybe like a week out, but I didn't want to give her false hope because the house had some issues. And the buyer was a difficult personality. So I didn't want to say, hey, we're going to get an offer. This is going to work out. But I wish I would have let her know maybe like a week out. There's, maybe something coming to fruition. She knew we were having showings. I was talking to someone, but I don't think she knew how serious it was. But I don't think that would have actually changed. You can't dig yourself out of a...
So right. And so, again, in our pre-production meeting, right, we talked about what that hole was. And the major hole that was dug was the price.
With the first agent.
The first agent and the price. And so I don't know if you have any more to share about the story, but this leads right into the conversation, pre-production meeting.
That's what we're going to call it.
About pricing and taking advice from professionals.
Right. We hire professionals, doctors, attorneys, accountants.
And we listen to their advice.
Generally.
And sometimes you may not agree with your lawyer, but you're going to take their advice because you trust that the lawyer is correct, or especially a doctor. You trust that the doctors are maybe get second opinions, third opinions, which also you should be doing with when you're hiring a listing agent. And so we had a recent opportunity where I'm just going to throw some numbers out there, just want to
random.
Home came off the market. It expired at $1,500,000.
Right.
Okay. And we were invited in for a listing appointment, and we did what they call a desktop appraisal.
Right.
Which you hire an independent appraiser to give their thought on what the selling price should be. And it came in at $900,000. And when we did our comps, it was spot on.
Right.
And you and I felt, okay, well, we're going to go in there. We're going to explain everything to them. And we did.
Yep. Went over market data, trends in market, and what we were seeing in their specific area, because it's beachside. Good activity. We're seeing very good activity, good pendings. And we're like, now is the time to list.
Yep.
But price is right. And when I looked at, so what we found that was interesting was there no closed sales between, what was it, 1 million and 1.025. So 1,025,000. And we got called out. She was like, that can't be true.
Right.
But it was.
Right.
It's always good to see where, even if we're not looking at comparables, where the buyers are spending their money.
Right. And so what ended up happening is we are not in the business of trying to get a listing just to get a listing. It doesn't do anyone any good. It doesn't do us any good because we're going to spend thousands of dollars trying to market your property. We're going to spend hundreds of hours. I don't know, hundreds of hours. I'm just talking here like
on that level of property.
Hours upon hours trying to sell the property. And it does, it hurts the seller because if you agree to the price that the seller thinks it's worth, and in this case, I threw a number 1.5, but whatever the number was.
Yes.
If we agree to that, we know it's not going to sell at that price.
No.
We had our professional documentation. We had an independent appraiser give their number, and the seller had an appraisal done which matched our appraisal, and they insisted that this needs to be listed at $1 million plus, right?
Right.
And so at the end of the day,
well, they wanted to go more than the last asking price.
Yeah.
Which makes a little red arrow show up next to your price.
Right. And it makes people think, well, why is this happening? Right.
Right.
So the purpose of this whole pricing story is it's important as a seller to listen to the professional advice that you're getting and not hire an aide out of the 3-4 agents you interview.
Right.
You don't hire the agent that's giving you the highest list price or agreeing with your assumption that this is worth $1.5 million. Sign the paperwork. Let's go. As
you what you want to hear.
And it's hard, right? We've all sold homes and we all have this emotional attachment to our home, and we know how much money we've put into our home. We know what we have left on our mortgage.
Yes.
But the seller doesn't determine the price. The agent doesn't determine price. The market determines the price. And when you have two appraisals, you have documentation from a professional agent saying this is what your home is worth.
Right.
And there
was more though, because it was listed.
Yes.
It was listed.
So
the buyers have already told you.
So you have documentation that number is not working.
And I think that past agent didn't know maybe how to be as forthcoming. So they paid for an appraisal.
Right.
Awesome. The seller didn't listen.
Right.
But you've been given all of the information.
Yeah.
This is like the market has spoken to you.
Right. So now at the end of the day, here we are, say these people sign and they're going to get it listed again for over $1 million.
Right.
They're wasting money every month on insurance, taxes, upkeep, and to what end? So eventually this is going to go on for over a year.
Absolutely.
So probably talking $8,000 to $10,000 in wasted money, maybe more in maintaining taxes.
Well, probably
insurance. It's got to be more than
the home.
Yeah. It's got to be towards $15,000 to $20,000 with this particular home. So now you've just burned through $15,000 to $20,000 between taxes and insurance, upkeep, what have you. Regardless of that number and time.
Time is worth money.
Right. So.
And we know what's happening in the market now.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen in the market 6 months from now.
Right. So as a seller, it's so important to accept the information that's being told to you. And I suggest you get several different sources for that information and make a if possible,
it's hard,
a non-emotional decision as to where that price is going to be listed at.
Sometimes it stings.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to hear,
Right. And you and I've talked about, well, what do you do to get a listing? Like, are you going to just accept the fact that, I'll list your home for $100,000 more than what you're going to get? It's not professional. It's not worth it.
Right.
And then the internal debate that goes on in the industry is, I'll just get it and I'll talk them down on price. And that's no way to go about business either, because you're creating false hope with your sellers.
Well, and you have to judge your clients, because we've met with several and it's totally fine. You know what? We're going to start out with your price.
Sure.
But in 3 weeks, if we don't have good buyer activity and we don't have good feedback, we need to adjust. We do a plethora of marketing. And if with all of this marketing, you're not getting action. It's not us.
Right. The market is speaking that it's the price.
Yes. And I would love more than anything that we sell that house for 1.5. Of course. But I, like you said, we're professionals. I want to give you my honest professional opinion. If I could sell for 1.5.
So what's funny, we go back to the original story and how this poor lady who went down the road trying to sell her home got into financial trouble because of decisions that were made. And it's funny, I tell my wife this quite often is, one of my biggest fears in my job is screwing up someone's life.
Oh.
It's one of my biggest fears, right? So when you're filling out paperwork, when you're making recommendations, my biggest fear is setting someone up for failure. And so back to the story, this poor lady who just went down the wrong road, starting with price, and set it up for additional failures along the way.
Multiple, so much time wasted, so much money out, dug a hole for it. It was so, but I remember that it sticks with me. I never will forget it. And it's a lesson learned that I bring into every listing appointment with every client.
There you go. And so to summarize, I think the moral of the story is if you're going to go sell your home, talk to multiple agents and get the most professional information together. Get the data. Don't get the bells and whistles from the agents that are sitting in front of you, because we can all make some wonderful presentations. You need to choose an agent that is being honest with you and giving you the most professional information and has truly the best opportunity to market your property. Don't choose your agent based on the price they're telling you, or the price that you believe that they're agreeing with you. How am I? Right. You see what I'm saying?
Agreeing with your price.
Right. That is not how you pick an agent, because they think, yes, you think your home's worth $1.5 million? Yes, I can sell your home for $1.5 million. You just picked the wrong agent.
I'm going to go to my oncologist. I don't have cancer, right? I'm good.
Yeah. So that the moral of the story is choose your listing agent based on the data they're putting in front of you.
Data, marketing plan, experience. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's well-rounded. And I think you also have to be able to work with who you pick, because,
collaborate. You have to have a good feeling that you're going to get along with these people, because you could be working with each other for several months.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to be able to trust each other also. And we have to be able to trust our sellers.
Yes. That's a very good point.
And that's why I'm not heartbroken over not having that listing. Is I don't think we would have been able, they're not at the point where they're ready to accept honest information.
That's a very good point.
We keep hearing from, maybe, I don't know if it's our broker, but actually some of our brokers, some of the top agents, they will not take, listings where the seller says, I don't need to sell, because it's going to be a situation like that.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Yeah. It'll be priced way above what the market's saying the home is worth. And now you're spending thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars trying to market a multi-million-dollar home.
Right.
And you're 6 months in and the seller's like, yeah, it didn't sell. Okay,
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Well, and something that keeps repeating is, I don't want to give it away.
Right.
And this kind of annoys me.
Right.
Always, right?
Right. Because we don't want to give it away either.
Of course not.
Right.
But we're not, we don't know what's happening in the future. You could be chasing the market down. I don't know. You're still spending money every month. We're not giving it away by pricing it right.
Well, and the key to am I giving it away or not is using the professional data. In this particular instance, they had documentation from 3 different sources saying your home is worth in the high 8s. It's in the high 8s is where we're going to settle in value. So if someone was going to give it away saying, oh, I can sell your home for $800,000 or $790,000. Yeah. Now you're hiring someone that just wants to just get the listing and give it away for nothing. That's giving it away.
Right. And even then, just the way the market works, you're going to get multiple offers. It's going to go over asking.
That's a good point. And that's a strategy we haven't discussed yet on these podcasts, but I've run into that. I have not I have not utilized that, but I've seen it with buyers. I brought buyers to situations where the home is priced so low. What is going on? Oh, well, here's the website. This is sort of like an auction situation, and you put your offer into the website, and then they have different rounds.
Wow.
Boost the price, boost the price, boost the price. So that's one concept, but yeah.
But it is. The market will tell you what it's worth.
That's it.
No matter where you price it. You underprice it, you overprice it. In general, it's going to come to the right price. And we see so many loans. So I do a lot in Vero. Vero does have a good amount of cash. And we have some here. But overall, I see a lot of loans. You're protected by the appraisal.
Yes.
Like, that one's not going to appraise.
That's exactly right. So it's yes, exactly. And we can get into that later, what that means to a seller if the home doesn't appraise and you've got a contract $100,000 more than what it appraised for. Now we have a situation.
We do.
Yeah. And we can get into that at another time. But
we should invite an appraiser on.
Yeah. Yeah. And a mortgage broker and have them sit side by side.
And fight.
Yeah. And talk about, yeah.
They could duke it out.
Yeah.
And we'll just watch.
That's it. That'd be great. Great podcast festivities. Yeah.
We'll just sit on the other side with popcorn.
All right. I hope it comes through the podcast, this episode, of our passion for how the pricing works in the marketplace. And it's tough as a seller. Again, we're repeating ourselves, but to leave the emotion out of it and trust the data. You don't even have to trust the agent at first, but trust the appraiser's information. The comps aren't going to lie. If they're truly getting comps in your neighborhood that match your home and it's documented what's going on, you're going to get the legitimate price at that moment in time. You are. At that moment in time.
Like I always say, is smack them in the face with the data.
Yeah.
I just, every time. And we were making a good groundwork when we generally do when we go meet with people.
Yeah.
And I feel like when we met with them, we had made some good groundwork, but when we left, it was undone.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. And we've talked about this. We don't want to, from our perspective, we don't want to get a listing that is going to waste the seller's time or waste our time. And this is a situation where at the end of the day, we think we'll have another shot at this opportunity, we think, down the road, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on.
Like, knock on wood.
Yeah.
This isn't wood.
Yeah. It's our desk. Our desk is not wood.
It looks like wood.
It does look like wood.
But
it's not wood.
So that's it. That's it for today's episode of $1 Million Failure.
If you ever had a home that didn't sell and want to share your story, whether for advice, a second chance, or just a vent, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us at milliondollarfailures@gmail.com to be considered for a future episode.
And if you're thinking about selling and want our help to get it right the first time, email us. We are here.
A big shout out to Jeffrey French at Grit and Grind Studios, our producer.
And if you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, all of those things. Hit all the buttons, review us wherever you are listening, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Jeremy's on X, just to keep up with us and the new episodes, plus behind-the-scenes content.
And if you're a brand or business interested in sponsoring the show, hit us up. Let's talk.
Cool. So thanks for tuning in. Until next time, once again, I'm Nicole.
And I'm Jeremy.